Hello, and welcome to the Knit Girls. I don't know what comes next. This is episode 640. There we go. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is the 13th of January, and it's Laura's nap time.
Yes, it is. Although I took a nap this afternoon. I've been not sleeping well at night because Pearl seems to think that, well, first off, Pearl saw a cat Thursday on top of the fence.
Oh, okay.
And cats do not belong on top of the fence, Leslie.
And she needs to let them know that?
Yes, by trying to eat them.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like an hour endeavor that almost made me late to the basketball game. And then, but now every time she goes outside, it was like the way back corner.
Mm-hmm.
You got to check to make sure that there's no cats. And you need to check every hour on the hour because cats can exist at any point in time.
That's true.
It could be Time Lords. I don't know.
Cats as Time Lords. That is scary. Cats are fickle creatures. Yeah, I actually got up at like 7 because the dogs would not. Once Jordan is awake and ready to be awake, he'll just stand outside of Carly's crate. Thank you.
Yeah.
And just yip at her, and that has the unintended effect of waking me up. So I ended up taking a nap.
Unintended effect. Yeah.
Is that not what I said?
No, that is what you said. I was just reiterating that is. I feel like that is a very intended effect.
So.
There you go.
And then I woke up and made deviled eggs. So I have some deviled eggs if you want to take some home with you.
I do want all the deviled eggs.
I made 2 plates worth of them, and Kobe ate an entire plate almost by himself.
Oh, Kobe.
So.
Oh, if Kobe gets trapped by the storm and it's easier for him to come to my house, he is more than welcome.
He'll just stay in the hotel.
Okay. Like, I'm not that far from the hotel.
Yeah.
Like, less than a mile, so.
Yeah, you just gotta take that crazy windy back road to get to your house.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it slow, but yeah.
Anyway, welcome. I realized as we were getting ready to start recording that I hadn't put up last week's episode, so that's fun. So we'll have 2 posted relatively close to each other. But yeah, so knitting. Do you want to go, or do you want me to go? Are you counting?
I'm not counting. I can go.
Okay.
I don't have a ton to show. I have my hat. So this is the elf baby hat. It is at the very bottom brim. It is a pattern that is only available on Ravelry. So it's basically you get your choice of a couple different lace patterns for the brim, and then you do 4 inches of the brim, and then it's like shaped like an elf hat. Mm-hmm. I did not like any of the lace patterns for the brim. That's not true. I like all the lace patterns for the brim. I don't have the spoons to do all the lace patterns for the brim. So I chose the easiest, and it's basically a feather and fan, but I didn't like how they did it, so I just did a different feather and fan. Didn't look it up. I just switched the action row from being on the purl row to the knit row, so I don't have to purl 3 together or purl in the front and the back. And instead of knitting in the 3 together, I just decided to slip 1, knit 2, slip over, because it's an easier action for me. So this is the very start of this. I'm doing the like year size. It is going to go in the bin probably, although I might give it to a coworker who had a baby last year. So this is going to be the brim part of this, 4 inches, and then the rest of the hat will be these leftover hand spuns. So this one is a silk blend. It was part of my patchwork blanket that I did, and then this was leftovers from a Nest Fiber Studio Superwash. It's a 2-ply. So yeah, and I'm knitting this I think on size 1s. So using up some scraps.
And this is a 2024 goal project, right?
Yes. So every year I pick out around 12 to 14 projects that I would like to knit throughout the year. Usually I get 4 to 5 done. Last year I got 4, but I had a lot of sweaters on my list, and then I knit only 2 sweaters last year. This year it's a lot of sweaters again, and I really want to focus on sweaters, but I'm waiting to finish a spin for a sweater before I start one. So that is the first thing on the needles. And then the second thing on the needles,
I was going to say it's right there, I think.
It's in one of my fat squirrel bags, not that one. This one. I was at our 8th grade.
Hey, I know that color.
Do you?
I think so. What is it?
Geektastic and Island of Misfit Toys.
Oh, yeah. I knit that one.
I know.
In sport weight, I think. Maybe.
I don't think they had it in sport weight because I tend to buy sport weight, and this was fingering weight. Look at how tiny it is. I feel like for it's 60 stitches. Anyway, it's Geektastic Island of Misfit Toys. I'm knitting it on size 0. I'm doing 60 stitches. Usually I do
64.
No, I do 54
for fingering weight.
For sport weight,
okay.
56 for sport weight. So I went up a smidge for the fingering weight.
What kind of needles are those with a green cord?
I don't know. Chagus, maybe? Hayas? One or the other. Chagus, I think. I needed a set of needles at Wisconsin Cheap and Wool, so I got them from a vendor there.
I just haven't seen a green cord. At least I don't remember one.
You've seen this multiple times on this podcast.
Apparently I don't pay attention. I mean, I'm sure that comes as a surprise to everybody.
This is my surprise face. So I started these during the 7th grade boys part of the basketball game because I had finished something else and knit on them there. And knit on them a smidge the mint color while I got bagels this morning. So these are going to hang out in my bag and get knit on. I took 6 random skeins from SSK last year and put them in a bag. And then as I finish stuff, I'll pull out from that bag.
It's a good, like, in-between.
Yeah, and I'll probably keep refilling that bag with, I'm in a couple different yarn clubs, 2 of which are fingering weight. So,
are you cold?
Yes. Stop bothering me. It's 20 degrees outside.
Outside? Like...
We're also I'm kind of scattered because we are supposed to get snow tomorrow and Monday, and it might be 10 inches.
Wouldn't it be funny if the only snow day that happened this year was on a day you're already scheduled to be off? Wouldn't that be amazing?
No, that would not be funny. If we get any snow, we'll be out for the week because it's not supposed to get above freezing all this week.
Oh.
And we're supposed to get more snow Thursday.
Yay.
Who talks to your husband? I do, about the weather.
I mean, he's probably told me this, and I just...
He keeps sending me, like, little memes where it's like, it's happening! The weather forecast. And that is what I need. I did my snow dance yesterday, leaving school. I am off Monday for Martin Luther King's birthday. So hopefully I will get some work done on some stuff there. I have your little pouch that you gave me in here. Been living in my bag. It's been super handy. Leslie made me one of the Hunter Hammerson pouches.
Binding.
Yep, for Christmas this year.
She has a knitted version of it.
Oh, does she?
Never doing that.
Huh.
Because the sewing version takes me half an hour.
Yeah.
Ish.
And then knitting, yeah. It would be cool, like, out of wool felt, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that lives in this bag, which is an Amy Beth bag as well. So those 2 things are what is being actively worked on in my life.
Well, the first half of the paragraph of my works in progress I didn't touch this week. So the directions top by...
You were going to do a repeat a day.
Yeah, that didn't happen. I was running very low on spoons this week. My patience was very thin, so I just did not have the spoons for it.
All your spoons went to the dogs?
Yes. Because one of them is deciding that they have to pee in the kitchen several times a day. Even though they go out, I don't know, every 60 to 90 minutes. Like,
that sounds like a territory thing.
It's really frustrating. So anyway, I didn't touch the direction. Well, I did like a repeat on the directions top. I didn't touch the painting brick shawl at all, or the socks out of the Rollins and Nosh Cornucopia. I did work a little bit on the hat that I cast on last week, which is Brighter Days by Sweater Freak out of Republica Unicornia.
So pretty. You're going to need it this week.
Yeah, it's so cold. Well, for here. I did not read the pattern.
Again, surprise
give you a second to recover from that. If I had, I would have chosen a different pattern because this is essentially rib. Like,
yeah,
one
with a slip.
rib.
Yes, with a slip
Every
stitch.
other row is you slip instead of knitting. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a lot of rib, and I don't particularly like knit one, purl one, rib. I like the way it looks. I just don't enjoy creating it. So
you're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pull it too far because my needles are very short and the stitches love to pop off. But,
so usually I make my hats around 9 inches long.
Yeah, I think it's like I have to do 4 inches of the pattern and then start decreasing. So
okay.
We'll see. I might make it longer because it depends on how much yarn I have. But yeah, so I knit the ribbing on a size 6 and I'm knitting the hat on a size 8 and it's a worsted, so it's pretty snug for me. But I prefer my hats to be snug, so.
Keep those drafts out.
The second thing that I worked on some this week is the Pressed Flowers cardigan. I'm enjoying working on it, but it involves having 2 different balls of yarn, one of which is very delicate, like the Noro. If you pull too hard on it, it'll snap. And I have a very ambitious parkour dog. Well, 2 really.
2. Yeah, I was gonna say 1.
I earlier today, I was sitting on my sofa, and where I sit on my sofa, to the left of me is like the long chase part, and that's where I have like my pile of projects. And then to the right of me is usually where the dogs sit. Now, I've been trying to train them not to jump over me to get from one side to the other because it's very frustrating. Most of the time they do it without touching me in any way or like bothering anything, but occasionally they destroy things when they do this. And I don't know. Oh no, we had opened a bark box.
Oh.
And there were new squeaker toys.
Oh.
And Jordy was in the kitchen. He had already played with it, put it down, and gone to do something else. And it was sitting beside me, and Carly was sitting beside me, and I picked it up and squeaked it. And at no point did I even see Jordy coming. But because the pile of projects is about here, like height. Well, I'm sitting down, and it's, whatever. But it's about my shoulder height. And at no point did I even see him until he had completely cleared it in one jump and was at my, coming down on top of me and the squeaker toy. So,
that's intense, dude.
It is. It's really, I can't imagine why I have no spoons. But anyway, so it's hard to work on that when they're riled up. Usually in the evening after they eat and I take them out and we play for a while, they're calm for a little bit. So that's when I try to get my knitting in. But
that's gorgeous.
So this is where the cardigan is at. I finished the first half of the repeat and I'm working on the second half of the repeat. Yeah, it's, you only use one color at a time per row. You slip stitches. I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping my slip stitches very loose, like the floats behind them, because there are sections where you've got 3 or more stitches that you're slipping behind, and you want to make sure that you leave that yarn loose and not tight. So yeah, I really like it. It does look kind of shaggy and just the yarn, which I dig. I'm looking for that. I'm into that. So I was hoping I would be able to have this done in time for Vegas, which is in 2 weeks, and that's not going to happen. So, but that's okay. I have plenty of knitted garments. So
there was a cute sewn jacket that came out too that you could make if you wanted. Nope.
I'm not.
Amy Beth posted about it, and it's adorable.
Yeah, it's a new. The same people who put So Liberated, same people that did the studio tunic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she tests those for them a lot. So, anyhow, yeah, so I'm knitting that. I'm happy with it. I wish I could put more time into it, and maybe I will. But I've spent a fair amount of time on weaving this week, which I'll get to later. And then the other thing was I decided to do a crochet temperature blanket. Not because anybody pressured me into it, but because I was talking to a coworker who knits and was sending her all these links, and I was like, ooh, maybe I need to make one, but I don't need another crocheted blanket in my house. I have several. And so Laura said she would take it.
I have 0. It's very sad.
So I tried to get her to pick the colors. She was not into that. But
no, yeah, the colors she picked were fine.
Except
for the peach.
There was a peach in there.
Which I feel like you put intentionally just to like,
see.
Yeah.
Right?
To make sure I was paying attention.
So different people put different... So the idea behind a crochet or any sort of temperature garment or blanket or whatever is you decide that between this temperature and this temperature the color is going to be blue or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And then you take the either like the average temperature or the high or the low or some combination of those things, and you create a little bit for that day, and then you just do it across the year. So because we don't typically get the conditions that we're getting right now, I put the lowest at 30 degrees and below. I should have been more specific.
You should have. You need like another dark purple or something.
But once I got to 40 degrees, everything else is a 5-degree separation, because we spend a lot of time in that sort of generally between like 50 and 100. Like this is Fahrenheit, of course. We spend a lot of time there. So I did a fair amount of
this week we're spending some time under 0.
Yeah. Or we're forecast to anyway. Yeah. So I started this, and if I remember, I will link to which specific one that I'm doing, but essentially it's a granny square, a 3-round granny square. The center round is the low, the middle round is the high, and the third round is just all the same color. So it's like the color is called parchment. It's like, it's like a beige color. Yeah. So, and I'm putting a plain one for the beginning of each month.
That is not what I was supposed to do.
So this was the first, second, third, fourth. And I'm trying different ways of weaving in ends as I go to see if I can find something that I like the look of and that reduces the amount of time that I do each day. I was hopeful because there's a version called Crochet as you, or like Join as you go crochet. And I was like, ooh, that sounds good. But it only joins at the point where you've got these, so you see where like here and here.
Yeah.
It only joins there, so they're, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? But I like the look of a fully joined seam.
Joined,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm essentially just using a blanket stitch and seaming up the side of each one. So,
look at you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
Now it's a headband for me, almost.
I don't know that I'll be able to do one every single day, but I think it's a good, like, it takes maybe 20 minutes, and I'm being very generous to crochet one of these. So it's something I could do weekly, for sure, to keep up. So...
There's some people doing reading ones, which I think is super cool. They're either doing, like, the book cover colors...
Ooh, that's cool.
...as, like, the grannies, or they're doing, like, genres.
You could do, like, author's last name, like...
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of different ways.
Is red, or whatever, like, yeah, that's a cool idea.
I was showing the kids, actually, temperature blankets this week, because we were setting goals in our reading, and I was like, people track things different ways. Mm-hmm. Here's one out-of-the-box way that people track some things. Yeah. Yep.
That's a cool idea. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. So, now that I've talked for like 20 minutes.
I have one finished object.
Okay, go for it.
I have to make a matching set of mitts to go with them.
That's
so
right.
I have to cast those on. But I did finish the wee little bring home from the hospital hat that I'm knitting for a coworker to give to a coworker. So this is Old Rusted Share DK. This is a trio of hats by Woolly Wormhead, the pixie version. I did the newborn size, no, the preemie size, because I knit loose, and I only had with me the needles it called for. Usually I go down a size, so I knew it was going to be big, and I feel like that's newborn size.
Well,
She
yeah,
wanted
and
it for like bring it home to the hospital.
Yeah, and I think it's got enough stretch that it might last her into next winter.
Yeah, we'll see. So she wants one of my coworkers asked me if I would knit for another coworker's baby shower so she could give it to her. Still haven't figured out how much I'm going to charge her. I don't know.
Go with your gut.
It's a weird, it's a weird thing. It's not taking much time. I knit most of this actually during the pep rally from this point on was all pep rally knitting for the most part. And I posted a picture on my Instagram of me with my Converses. I sat on the floor and then I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get up off the floor. And then I was like, hey friend, will you be a peach? And I got one of the PE coaches to hold my water for me because I had polar. And then I got up off the floor using the wall. But yeah. It was like the 40-plus-year-old brigade was sitting on the floor and we were all like, huh.
Not 2023, but 2022 SSK when I was typically on the Fridays of SSK, once the pipe and drape gets delivered, myself or Gwen and myself will go in there and we'll mark out this is the booth space for X or Y or whatever.
Because I'm usually running around upstairs.
Yeah, or you're teaching, or you're right. Like you do people better than me, and so that's perfectly fine.
You people.
But at one point I was trying to get something taped down, and I was like, oh fuck it. I got down on my knees and I was like, taping it out, and then I was like, I don't think I can get it. And let me tell you, that is a sobering moment. When you're like, I'm too old and I'm too fat and I just need a minute.
And it was just like this, and it was like
You had the wall though, that's good.
I had a wall, but there were also 1,000 kids surrounding me.
Just waiting to mock you.
I was kind of in a corner, so it wasn't terrible, but I was just like, I'm getting too old for it. And the young teachers are out playing musical chairs. And my teacher bestie, they also did this race where you ran across the entire gym, had to sit on a balloon and pop it, and then hop back. She ran across the entire gym, went to sit on the balloon, broke the chair because they were folding chairs. We broke 3 folding chairs doing this, and I was like, this is why I don't participate.
Yeah.
And she's young. I'm I almost taught her. She was at Hornlink the year before I started. So she's not older. She's not super young, but she's not older either. So it was just this is why I don't participate. Because
Mama's gonna break a hip.
Yeah. And then one of the kids went flying doing it. He missed the chair and went flying, one of my 8th graders. And it was hilarious.
Wow.
It was very intense. It's more the intensity. People will hurt each other trying to play musical chairs at a middle school pep rally, and that's the level of intensity that I'm like, I love this for y'all, but not for me. So I sit and watch and take pictures and watch the kids in the stands. But yeah, managed to get up, still alive.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So I got that baby hat knit on size 4 needles, 4s or 3s. I think 3s actually. It was the smallest size that my interchangeables went down to. Might have been 4s. And then, gotta do some baby mitts.
Those will be quick.
Yeah, the baby showers, they asked me on Friday if they could use the library on February 1st. So I actually know the date of the
time.
I actually know the date of the baby shower now. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but I'd like to I'm trying to have more of an obligation-free year.
Yes.
So, I want to get that over and done with, and that's kind of why I'm also knitting this, so it can go in the bin.
Yeah. I support an obligation.
Then if something happens, I don't, if there's a last minute something, I got stuff. I already have stuff in the bin, so I'm good, I think, for right now. But yeah. Being more chill this year, at least for the first half of the year, for sure. but finished baby hat. Yay!
Yay.
Spinning. I have been spinning quite a bit. You can't tell because I haven't plied anything. That's a lie. I did ply the fin from Hello Yarn. I went to soak it this morning and it was a little bit over either spun. I think it was over plied. So I wanted, instead of like, a lot of times I'll spin out the water of my hand spun, but I wanted the weight of the water to like help pop it and move some of that twist around. So it's still drying. I did finish all the singles of Herding Cats for, this is the last bobbin for my sweater spin, the stripy unicorn. So I have 12 ounces of that done. And I need to ply that. I have around a pound of singles still to ply. So I'm going to try to get on that this week, and maybe I'll have all the hand spun for y'all next week. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right now, knitting with this hand spun is bringing me a lot of joy, so
follow that joy, man.
Yep, I'm gonna follow it. I have almost all of the Knit Spin Farm batlings done. I have 4 to go.
Wow.
So those are almost done. Yeah, I think that was 6 ounces that I've spun on spindles.
Historically, it is.
Since December 1st. So I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I have Kim Dye's Yarn Bat Box that I'm going to start on my spindles next. Those are they're larger. I think they're also around 6 ounces, but it's 12. So I'll get to really fill up some of those spindles, supported spindles that I've been using. And I've been playing with fleece today. I got some good clean fiber from Clemis and Clemis, and I wanted to try some new to me breeds, so I have a CVM and something else cross.
Rambouillet. Isn't that the picture that you
Rambouillet CVM. Like, those are the same. No, that's not. Rambouillet and...
That's all I remember from the picture.
Oh...
Look at...
Yeah. I can't remember. It's something that begins with a C, I think. There's a lot of breeds of sheep that begin with the letter C. I feel like that's a Sesame Street thing.
Columbia?
Yep. So Rainbow Columbia, I had an ounce of that, and then I have a BFL CVM that I just got an ounce of each at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. So I've been hand carding, because an ounce is not worth dragging the drum carder out for. So I've been hand carding that today. Wheezy called to tell me about how he's going to have to do something, and while I was on the phone with him, I was carding wool. It was lovely. And then Pearl decided to like start licking my treadles with my matchless, because she is a weird dog.
Oh, before you leave, I need to give you the Woolly Wander.
Yes.
Try it. See if it. I mean, it hasn't been used in years, so.
We probably shouldn't have Michael clean it first.
Yeah, that's probably true. But remind me to get it out of my drawer.
Okay. It might be clean enough.
And even though Laura skipped me, I do have finished objects.
Oh, well, you had talked so long, so we were just...
Mm-hmm. She was just like, whatever, I don't want to hear what that woman's got to say.
I didn't even look on there.
So I got the Hello Bargello Advent kit, and decided to work on that this week while I've been working, and anyway, I've been working on this week. So it's a glasses case.
I like how that snaps.
And
that's super cool.
So it's got like that plastic canvas underneath it, and then I did the stripes wrong on this side, so you're only going to see this side. I missed one color up here.
Oh.
So, unless you're really looking for it.
I was not even noticing that.
And I also ran out of this color at the top, so I had to do a different color around the edge, but whatever, I made it work. So, and then it's got this like flex frame at the top.
Yeah,
so
that's super cool.
It's like a tensioned thing.
I love that.
But yeah, so I started and finished this in the last couple of weeks. I might have been working on it last week and just didn't show. I don't remember.
I've not seen that before, so that's cool.
Yeah, I might make another one of those, maybe as like an SSK.
There you go.
Giveaway, because I don't need more than one, but I use blue light blocking glasses. They're very helpful to me, so this way I can take them with me when I go to Vegas and have a case for them. And I finished the weaving part of a simple towel warp. So I warped a little over 11 yards. And
so how much?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
So this is the beginning, like with the tie-ons and then the contrast color, just to make sure I had the tension and everything right. And then once I got close to the end, I messed something up, and I was like, whatever, I've only got like
that much left.
This much left, forget it. I'm not fixing it. So yeah, I mean there's a lot of folds,
that'll be a lot of towels.
Yeah, so it's gonna be dish towels. They're just simple rainbow stripe.
Nice
towels. I have to serge or zigzag stitch the ends and then wash everything like in hot water and dry it on hot, just like you would for any towels.
Yeah.
So I really need to do that before we go back downstairs, that way I can wash them. So yeah, so hopefully by next week I'll have them hemmed and I'll know how many there are. And I'm going to start weaving with some of the kits I got from
fun.
Clouds. I picked one out. And just randomly out of the bucket of them, and it was like a twill plus plain weave plus stripes plus color
and then
changes,
you're like, I'm
gonna
put that one back.
I'm gonna go for an easier one. So
I'm glad you're weaving again. I know you enjoy it.
I really do. And the warping's not nearly as stressful as it used to be, because now I understand that you can't just pile yarn on top of each other when you're warping stuff. So, or when you're creating a warp. Anyway, so yeah, I'm happy with these. I might send some to your mom. I don't know.
Aw, she'd love that.
But I figure she's probably woven enough towels in her life.
I don't know that she
wove.
Maybe.
Because I got the loom
weave
from her.
Yeah.
Well, not the one I'm using, but...
I mean, she does still weave occasionally, but...
Yeah, she has a small...
I feel like people who craft appreciate...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I've been working on.
Cool.
I hope to warp again sometime in the next week or so.
Have you been spinning at all?
Not really. I spun a little bit on the same that I've been spinning. I don't know why my face is so red all of a sudden. It does that. The lights, maybe. As far as what I'm reading and or listening to, I'm still like starting and dumping a bunch of books. I've been in the mood for some interesting like horror kind of books, but not like gore horror.
Yeah.
And I'm not finding really what I want, so I've abandoned a lot of books. And I'm listening to the Leveling Up series by K.F. Breen, which is like the magical midlife whatever.
Yeah.
Every book's a different magical midlife something. And I'm on the one now where she and the guy are finally getting together and they're like in a mating frenzy and they love each other so much. And I'm like, I just want to skip chapters at a time because I don't need to hear it. Which is probably a really weird...
No.
I don't know. I'm in it more for the story than for the romance part of it. So
there you go.
And that's like a male-female urban fantasy
romance thing. Witchy romance.
Yeah. It's got like shifters and vampires and gargoyles and...
Gargoyles are cool.
Other stuff. Bazajon, which is like a Bigfoot sort of thing.
Huh.
That's pretty cool. What about you?
I am still listening to Fourth Wing. I reread All the Sinner, which is adults, like, ish, 20-something adult-ish. Not midlife. Although it reads more teen, but with lots of sex. Fantasy romance. And then I reread All the Sinner's Gem books, which I love, by Reese Ford.
Male romance.
Male mystery romance. And that's been about it. I've been watching a lot of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which is amazing. Really enjoying it. I think you would enjoy it too, because they the way they wrote some of the monsters
Mm-hmm.
is like they make them more. You learn like their stories
Mm-hmm.
more. You have more empathy towards their characters. It's good. And watching lots of hockey. So that's been happening. Watched lots of middle school basketball this week as well. So yeah, not a ton of stuff. Watched the new Ply Spinners Guild videos came out. A new series dropped on drafting, which was really interesting. There's two different ways to spin from the fold, and I had never spun from the flat from the fold, so I want to do that soon. But yeah, it's a pretty chill week for me. Hopefully this next week will be all the chill, and I will have lots to talk to you about next podcast, because I'm going to do all the things if we are off this week. That's always the plan, right?
Always, yeah.
But yeah,
I think that's all.
yep.
I don't know that we really have anything
If
else to
you
talk
are
about.
attending SSK, there will be an email coming out towards the end of this month about all the social stuff, whether it's the Discord or the knit-alongs or the Zooms. So that will be coming at the end of this month. And I have to remember to send them to the vendors as well.
Okay, I've got all that, or all the email addresses anyway.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about charity knitting for SSK at some point.
Okay.
And decide that before we talk about it.
Yeah.
But let's see. SSK is our annual knitting retreat that we hold in Nashville in
Crafting
July.
retreat. Yep.
And my husband is actually watching a football game tonight. He's not worried that he's going to ruin their chances, apparently.
Aw.
So, his beloved Dolphins have made it to the playoffs.
They have. They're playing Kansas City. If we were closer to Kansas City, he could go to the game, because it's going to be so cold that people are dumping their tickets for like $50. Because it's supposed to be like, it's like negative 16 right now. And it's supposed to get like very, very cold tonight.
I wonder if he's going to get sick of them panning shots to Taylor Swift. Is
he
she going to
will.
be at the game?
I don't know. I don't know where her tour thing is going on right now. Like, where in the world is Taylor Swift right now?
Carmen Sandiego.
I like, that is one of the best done theme songs when you think of, because that was a cappella. Like, things that we did not appreciate in the 80s and 90s.
I remember liking that show a lot. I always learned something when I watched that show.
Absolutely. Making geography fun. Thanks, PBS. I feel like it was on PBS. It might have not been.
I have no idea. But all right. Well, you guys have a good week. Try to stay warm and safe. And we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.